Hello, hello. Welcome to Sparkle.Sanctuary. My name is Rebecca. Thank you so much for joining me today. This is a month in review. I think I did one of these earlier this year, and I'm surprised to have another one. I did not expect to complete 3 diamond paintings in the month of November, but I think it's because I finished this bigger one early on, and then kind of focused on doing smaller pieces. So I'm going to actually work from the newest completion to the oldest from November, just because of 2 reasons. One, in the size order, and then 2, because I don't think this is legally licensed, and I know this is not legally licensed, and I'm not sure if it's stolen artwork or not. And I don't want to promote stolen artwork on my channel if I can avoid it. I also don't want to be dinged by YouTube for doing anything like that. So I'm going to kind of obscurely show you a little bit of the image. As you can see, there were pumpkins, and then there's a bird, and then it's in a barrel. I think I got this off of Amazon. I don't remember. It's been several years since I've had it in my stash. And I just wanted to, it is the last piece that I had that was not knowingly legally licensed art. And so I wanted to just get it worked up and get it out of the way so I can really focus on enjoying the rest of my stash. The color rendering is obviously computer generated. It didn't come out like in some colors areas. I was like, ooh, that's a pretty interesting contrast. But to be completely honest, when you step back and look at it, it looks perfectly fine. That's how, computer rendering works, but it's a smaller image. So typically you come up a little bit closer. So up close, it is not the prettiest, just because, like I said, there are things like this where that color to contrast is very stark. But overall, I think it looks perfectly fine. You're about 2 feet from the camera right here. So I'm not sure that it really matters. And I won't be hanging it up in my home anyway. It's just going to be in my stash. So that is that image. I didn't, it's such a small image, and I was pretty low on time. I completed it on the 21st and I started it on the 19th. So I only worked on it a couple days. And so I didn't actually kit up. What I ended up doing was putting it into this basket, and I just cut the corners of these and then line them up in number order. There are 30 different colors. So I just, it wasn't a lot to go through. So I think this is a really good way if you don't have a lot of money, or if you are strapped for time, or you're going to complete something very quickly. This is an option. You do not have to kit up into kits like these other ones that I have here. So I'll get this one put away and I will show you the next one. Okay, so the next finished is called Unicorn Layer by Casey Golden. It is 32.8 centimeters by 38 centimeters, or 13 by 15 inches. I used this older kit to kit up, and I regrettably did that. This one is pretty flimsy and was really cheap. And I will say these pop open really, you can see I'm barely putting any pressure on that. And I dropped this. And so several of them spilled and mixed, and was kind of frustrating to get through. I've spilled before, and I spill frequently. And so I don't see that normally as a huge problem. While it is slightly frustrating, it is not one of those things that tends to, be a big deal to me. However, with this kit, it was incredibly frustrating because I was already frustrated with it to begin with. This diamond painting has significant gapping. Normally when there is gapping in a diamond painting, if there's a quality issue with the drills, then the ABs will fit perfectly fine. But even the ABs had gapping spaces. So like these drills had even more space in between, and it made it much harder for to work on. I ended up finding lots of times when I'd be placing drills, and there would be so much space in between that I couldn't cover the symbols at all. So I normally use a 12 placer because I like to color block, and I couldn't even use my 12 placer because the gapping was just so significant. So I ended up using like a 3 and 4 placer, which means it took me longer. So I completed this November 18th, but I started it on like the 3rd. So it took me 2 solid weeks to finish this diamond painting. I will say I had days where I had to not work on it at all because I was just frustrated with the gapping. And I should, like I said, I should have been able to use my multi-placer, because there are areas where there is significant color blocking. Color blocking is where you have one color for a fairly large area, and that's basically this entire diamond painting. There's not really confetti. The most confetti that you see is kind of in these colors right here around the unicorn. And that's not even what I would consider confetti. This is a fully color blocking image with a few sprinkles of colors in there. And so it shouldn't have taken me as long. In fact, I had wanted to time myself and see how quickly I could get through an image that was fully color blocking, but found myself unable to do that just because, like I said, of the gapping. That aside, I do love this image. I think it turned out adorable. There is an AB, or Aurora Borealis, in this white color here with this iridescent coating on top. It is on the clouds in both of these areas. And then there's also this crystal diamond for the unicorn. The entire unicorn is this crystal. And so when you step back and you look at it, it sparkles and shines, and it's adorable, and I love it. I am glad I have this in my stash. I do feel like it is an adorable image when it is finished, so I don't regret having it or working on it. I just wish I could have, my plans didn't end up going to plan, and then I had spilling, and so it overall ended up being frustrating. But if you like this image, it is round drills, and if you don't use a 12 placer, it would be fairly simple to work on. And I think anybody that enjoys unicorns or this kind of image would enjoy this one. So that is all I have to say for this. And I'll go ahead and put this one away, and we'll look at the last one. All right, so the last image I want to show you is called Purple Meadow by Anne Julie Aubrey, and is legally licensed through Diamond Art Club. The diamonds are square-shaped diamonds, and the size is 50.8 centimeters by 70.7 centimeters, or 20 by 28 inches. She is such a beautiful image. I love Anne Julie Aubrey's work. I have 3 pieces from her that have this similar kind of girl look, and I just adore it. So I finished the first of 3. So maybe look for those in the future. I'm not sure how long it will take me to complete them. I have a fairly decent stash at this point, but I just love them, and I would like to have them like kind of as companion pieces. I will say this one is significantly different from the last one. The last one had a lot of color blocking where we had large areas of one color. This one had significant confetti. So I'll just pull up this one flower down here in her dress. And you can see there's just so many color changes. There's greens and purples and grays and whites, and there's all different shades. That is confetti. So I had to use my single placer quite a bit. And, those kinds of things take a little bit longer to work on. So I finished this one November 2nd, and I started it October, probably 5th or 6th. She's not a huge image, but I don't think I'll be able to get the full thing on screen unless I turn it sideways. But I just wanted to show you how pretty she is. I really do think that the rendering quality on this image is absolutely gorgeous. I did have some places like this where I was a little concerned just because it's so stark, but when I pulled back and looked at it, it looked fine. I will say there are only, like this one, like the last one, this only has 2 special diamonds. There is, let's see, there's one AB. So this AB is identified as number 111. It's a raspberry kind of color. And then there's this white crystal diamond, and it is L5200. So it's just, the silver backing, but it looks really pretty. So I had plenty of diamonds to work with, and had no real issues with feeling like I was going to run out of any color. The quality was all really nice. I think that there wasn't issues really with gapping in this diamond painting. I had no real frustration with it. It just took me a longer time because it was square shapes and because it was confetti. Overall, I love the way this looks. There's a nice soft flock backing as per Diamond Art Club's normal quality, and I didn't have any issues with the stickiness of the canvas. I did have very little trash as well. There were some like stray random, let me see if I can pull that, like these long plastic pieces. I had a few of those, but nothing significant. Like I said, I didn't feel at any point like I was going to run out of diamonds. So the silver, the L5200s, like crystal, is just kind of sprinkled throughout the diamond painting. So that's what these are. And there's some back through here. There's some in her hair. And I don't even remember, it's sprinkled like in different areas on the canvas. The AB drill was mostly around this bird cage, which I thought was really neat, a neat way to enhance it. So I will say, stepping back and looking at it, I just really love the overall look and think it's just such a gorgeous image. Now, I will say that this bird cage is holding butterflies. And honestly, unless you like really look up close on this, I'm not sure that you can identify that as butterflies. You'll have to let me know in the comment section below if that's actually what you knew what these were. Like looking through the viewfinder, you can see that these are butterflies. I think, but in person, they don't look like butterflies at all. It took me a minute after I did this to go, what is in that cage? Um, and I remember buying this because I love butterflies. And so that, once I figured it out, I was like, oh yeah, okay, that makes sense. So from a distance, it looks good, and is very um, identifiable, but at this closeness and closer, definitely cannot tell. Um, it's a little bit muddied. So that's the only area of the rendering that I think may have been a little bit problematic, was in these butterflies here. But I think, when you compare the image to the original art to the diamond painted canvas, I think it all turned out pretty well. So I'll go ahead and turn her sideways so you can see the entire image in view. So see, she's not terribly big, but she's not terribly small either. But yeah, so that is all I have for today. Thank you for joining and listening to me talk about my diamond paintings and the ones that I finished lately. I do have another one that I'm currently working on, and it is the oldest kit in my stash. And I'm also adding special diamonds to it. I think I've already posted a video about those special diamonds, so that I'm adding in there. So please stay tuned for that. Anyway, if you have any questions, please leave them in the comment section below. And I hope you just have a really great rest of your day. Just remember, wherever you go, to take time to take care of yourself as a Sparkle Sanctuary. So make sure you're taking time to take care of you, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye.